Every moment spent spinning wheels in the grind feels like a slow strangulation. The pressure to grow, to scale, to sprint toward something that looks like success, it's suffocating. Founders, investors, leaders strapped to invisible chains made of expectations, market noise, and outdated playbooks. The truth? Most scaling stories we hear are fairy tales dressed in flashy numbers. They hide a brutal reality. The harder you push without strategy, the deeper you get stuck in quicksand. The pain is real. You're staring at growth charts that should inspire but crush your spirit instead. Capital pours in, but so does chaos. You hire faster than you can integrate. Systems burst under pressure. Culture fractures. Teams burn out before your product even catches real fire. It feels like every step forward is met with 10 steps sideways, and fear whispers that maybe the game is rigged. But it's not rigged, it's misunderstood. What do unicorns really know that keeps them breathing fire while others choke? It's not luck. It's not just a killer product or extra funding rounds. It's a strategic alchemy that distills growth into something precise, fierce, and unstoppable. This isn't about throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping something sticks. It's about knowing exactly which walls to break down, which fires to stoke, and when to let smoke clear. First, forget growth as growth. Scaling isn't just bigger numbers. It's transformation on a cellular level, not of the company, but of the entire organism that supports it. Unicorns don't just multiply, they morph. They become different entities with different rules. They don't trap themselves in old success formulas. They know that yesterday's win can become tomorrow's prison if repeated without thought. The harsh reality is that most founders sprint headfirst into scaling without recalibrating their core. They bolt on sales teams, open new markets, chase aggressive KPIs, but underneath, their culture is unraveling, their cash flow is leaking, and their values are distractions instead of guides. Unicorns fix these leaks first. They see scaling as an ecosystem problem, not just a product or finance problem. They obsess over the rhythm of adaptation. Are you truly learning as you grow, or just expanding chaos? Growth without learning is a house of cards. The rare companies reject the myth of seamless scaling. They push hard, break, rebuild, and fight chaos until something new emerges. Not smooth, perfect, painless growth, real growth that scars, reshapes, and strengthens. One secret you won't hear in boardrooms: strategic scaling needs brutal honesty about what you're rallying your people around. If your culture is a mush of buzzwords, if your mission feels like marketing fluff, you're digging your own grave. Unicorns have almost religious zeal for clarity. Clarity of purpose, clarity of roles, clarity of what must die for what must live. Without this clarity, chaos reigns and the whole house crumbles. Then there's the relationships between leaders, founders, investors, board members. This is where most scaling fails silently. Unicorns treat these connections like a high-stakes dance. Alignment isn't optional, it's oxygen. People talk about smart money, but the energy and commitment behind that money, that's what scales. Investors who show up as mirrors and catalysts, not just check writers. Founders who don't just lead teams, but build tribes of fierce loyalty. Strategic scaling is impossible without this fierce human glue. But how do you build that glue? By being sovereign in your vision and ruthless about who you let in. Unicorns don't play the belonging game. They build tribes of becoming. They seek the few who spark fire, not the many who settle for smoke. This means saying no more than yes. It means brutal cuts of projects, people, and beliefs that dilute power. Growth is a battlefield, and every alliance counts. The infrastructure around how you scale? Most mimic the system and fail. Unicorns create their own maps. They innovate not just products, but processes, governance, and internal energy flows. They have an almost spiritual understanding that scaling is not just a business challenge, but a human one. Systems don't serve. To serve is a weak word. They amplify strength and reduce noise. This requires architects who can think like builders and philosophers all at once, a rare breed. So, what can be done now, when the pressure is crushing and the path obscured? Start by shedding illusions that freedom is comfort. Freedom is fierce. It's painful. It demands dismantling what you thought was secure. You need to reject the urge to follow crowd wisdom and instead ask the dangerous questions others shy away from. Are you building a system that amplifies your uniqueness or one that traps you in sameness? Are your investors catalysts or silencers? Does your culture fuel rebellion or enforce compliance? Are you scaling your chaos or your clarity? Here's a radical truth. Scaling isn't about growth hacks or viral loops. It's about becoming more of what you are at your core, and that core is rare, misunderstood, isolated, and fiercely individual. You're not broken, you're misaligned. The market, the system, the noise around you, they weren't designed to understand or hold your kind of fire. Unicorns know this. They don't waste energy adapting to roles they hate or markets that limit them. Instead, they find or build their ecosystem. They choose who and what thrives around them. They build connections that are more than deals. They are lifelines. The rare few who scale aren't scaling alone. They connect to networks that multiply power and creativity. This is strategic scaling, the power to not just survive growth pains, but to use them as forge and furnace for a new, stronger you. It's a hard path, but it's the only way real giants rise and don't fall. For founders feeling crushed, remember, your value lies not in how big you get quickly, but in how deeply you transform. For investors tired of chasing noisy promises, seek the founders who burn with sovereign fire, not those who play the comfortable game. For leaders trapped in systems, break them with clear vision and relentless alignment. Scaling is a rebellion. It's a refusal to accept easy lies about freedom and growth. It's where the few stop waiting and start building worlds that didn't exist before. Don't just grow, transcend. Build power that doesn't just show up in numbers, but in unbreakable, contagious energy. This is the playbook rare companies have cracked, and it's waiting for those bold enough to tune in, dig deep, and refuse comfort. The world forgot the exceptional because it fears what breaking the rules demands. But those who dare, those who choose to be sovereign, critical, transformative, selective, and patient, they don't just find success, they remake reality. When you scale strategically, you become a signal in the noise, a spark others follow when the old world feels too small, too broken, too tired. So take this moment seriously, because scaling is war, transformation, creation all at once. It's not nice, neat, or polite. It's fire, sweat, and endless sharpening of edges. It's the harshest and most freeing game. And when the chaos calms, what remains is a new reality, built by those who refuse to bend. This is your call to arms, to stop chasing illusions, to craft a scaling strategy so fierce, so clear, that the world can't help but notice, to seek not comfort, but becoming. Because only those who transcend limitations can truly scale, not by chance, but by design.